January 12th. The Catholic Church commemorates Saint Marguerite Bourgeoys, the first female saint of Canada. She lived during the 17th century, a period of religious reform and colonial expansion. Her life is closely connected to the founding and survival of early Montreal. Marguerite Bourgeoys was born in 1620 in the city of Troyes, France. France at the time was shaped by the Catholic Reformation after the Council of Trent. Religious life emphasized discipline, obedience, and clearly defined roles. Women religious were expected to live in strict cloistered enclosure. Marguerite grew up in a large family of modest means. She did not enter a convent at a young age. Her vocation developed gradually rather than through dramatic events. A decisive moment occurred during a Marian procession in her hometown. During this event, she experienced a deep interior conversion. She understood that her life would be devoted entirely to God. However, she did not feel called to a traditional enclosed convent. This distinction would define her entire mission. In the mid-17th century, France was expanding into North America. Montreal existed as a fragile missionary settlement. The population was small, poor, and exposed to constant danger. Disease, hunger, and violence were common realities. In 1653, Marguerite Bourgeoys traveled to Montreal. The journey across the Atlantic was long and dangerous. She arrived without wealth or institutional authority. Her role was initially informal and undefined. What Marguerite encountered was a lack of basic social structure. Children had little access to education. Girls were almost entirely excluded from formal instruction. Families struggled to pass on Christian teaching consistently. Marguerite identified education as a foundational need. She understood that evangelization required long-term formation. Without education, Christian life could not endure. This conviction shaped all her later decisions. She began teaching children wherever space allowed. Lessons were held in homes, barns, and temporary shelters. Her work was practical and methodical. There was nothing experimental or symbolic about it. Marguerite soon realized that informal teaching was insufficient. She envisioned a permanent community dedicated to education. This idea conflicted with established expectations for women religious. Active public ministry by women was viewed with suspicion. Despite resistance, she founded the Congregation of Notre Dame of Montreal. The sisters were not enclosed behind convent walls. They lived among the population they served. Their mission was explicitly educational. This model was controversial within the church. Some clergy questioned its legitimacy. Others feared moral and disciplinary risks. Marguerite remained obedient while defending her mission. She did not frame her work as innovation. She framed it as necessity. The survival of Christian families depended on formation. Education was treated as a duty rather than an option. Over time, her schools became essential to colonial life. Girls received instruction in reading, writing, and catechism. Moral discipline was integrated into daily education. Families benefited from increased stability and order. Marguerite faced serious hardships throughout her life. Financial collapse repeatedly threatened her work. Illness limited her physical strength. Internal divisions tested her authority. Despite these obstacles, she maintained consistency. She emphasized discipline and obedience within her congregation. She resisted emotional or charismatic excess. Her leadership style was restrained and practical. Her spirituality was deeply Marian. She modeled her work on humility and perseverance. Devotion was expressed through duty rather than emotion. Sanctity was pursued through daily responsibility. Marguerite Bourgeoys died in the year 1700. Her congregation continued operating after her death. Its schools expanded across Canada. Her educational model proved durable across centuries. She was canonized in 1982 by Saint John Paul II. The Church recognized her contribution to Catholic education. She was declared the first female saint of Canada. Her canonization affirmed active religious life for women. Saint Marguerite Bourgeoys represents a specific type of holiness. Her sanctity was institutional rather than mystical. She built structures instead of movements. Her legacy is measured in continuity, not spectacle. January 12th, therefore, commemorates a builder rather than a visionary. Her work addressed concrete social needs. She strengthened Christian life through discipline and formation. Her approach remains relevant wherever faith requires stability. Saint Marguerite Bourgeoys demonstrates that education is not neutral. It shapes belief, behavior, and culture. Neglecting education leads to religious decline. Her life stands as a historical correction to that error. This is why the Church remembers her on January 12th, not for dramatic miracles or public controversy, but for constructing something that endured. Her sanctity is proven by what remains. The early years of Montreal were marked by constant instability. The settlement depended heavily on external support from France. Supply shortages were frequent and unpredictable. Survival required strict organization and discipline. Religious institutions played a central role in maintaining order. Parishes provided moral structure for the population. Missionaries worked among indigenous peoples with mixed success. Education remained severely underdeveloped. Marguerite Bourgeoys operated within this fragile environment. Her work was not symbolic or secondary. It addressed an immediate, practical necessity. Illiteracy directly threatened religious continuity. The education of girls had long-term social consequences. Women shaped domestic religious life. They transmitted faith to children. Without formation, households lost coherence. Marguerite understood this connection clearly. Her schools focused on discipline as much as instruction. Catechism was central to daily teaching. Moral behavior was treated as learned conduct. Her congregation operated without large endowments. Funding was unstable and inconsistent. Teachers often lived in poverty. Sacrifice was assumed rather than praised. Marguerite personally experienced financial ruin. At one point, she lost nearly all material support. Her response was not withdrawal. She reorganized and continued. She traveled repeatedly between France and Canada. These journeys were physically exhausting and dangerous. They were necessary for securing approval and resources. Persistence replaced institutional privilege. In France, she faced skepticism from church authorities. Her non-enclosed model remained controversial. Approval was delayed and conditional. Her mission survived through endurance rather than endorsement. Marguerite never sought public recognition. She avoided political influence. Her authority rested on results. Schools that functioned justified her leadership. Within her congregation, she emphasized obedience. Rules were clear and enforced. Personal initiative was subordinated to mission needs. This prevented fragmentation over time. Her approach differed from later charismatic movements. She discouraged emotional excess. Stability mattered more than enthusiasm. Longevity mattered more than visibility. As Montreal expanded, her schools expanded with it. They adapted to new settlements. Curricula remained consistent. Formation remained the priority. The Congregation of Notre Dame became a permanent institution. It outlived colonial administrations. It survived political changes. Its continuity confirmed its necessity. Marguerite's final years were marked by illness. Her physical strength declined significantly. She gradually withdrew from active leadership. Succession planning ensured continuity. Her death in 1700 did not disrupt operations. The congregation continued without interruption. This stability reflected disciplined governance. Her model proved structurally sound. Centuries later, historians reassessed her contribution. She was no longer viewed as marginal. Her work was recognized as foundational. Canadian Catholic education traced its roots to her efforts. Her canonization followed careful historical evaluation. Miracles were examined according to church procedure. Her life was studied in detail. Her sanctity was confirmed through evidence. Saint Marguerite Bourgeoys represents institutional holiness. She built systems rather than reputations. She emphasized continuity over charisma. Her legacy remains measurable and concrete. Her feast on January 12th reflects this assessment. She is remembered for construction, not controversy. For education, not ideology. For endurance, not novelty. Her life challenges modern assumptions about reform. Change occurred through discipline, not disruption. Authority emerged from service, not assertion. Success was measured over generations. This is why she matters historically. This is why the Church remembers her liturgically. Her work prevented collapse through formation. Her sanctity is verified by survival. January 12th, therefore, commemorates a stabilizing force, a woman who imposed order where chaos threatened, a saint whose holiness expressed itself through structure, a builder whose work resisted decay.